Money talk.
Money talks. Bill's scream.
I feel like you've been asking me. Let me ask
Okay, you ask me. Okay, you go ahead.
I'm standing on business.
As you should. You're the interviewer. You're the journalist.
Okay. So Becky.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Money does talk.
Creators on creators. What has been your highest paid deal?
I'm gonna keep it honest. My highest paid deal.
We're gonna go out after this.
Okay. It's in the million. No, I'm joking. So my highest paid deal, I'll put it in pounds just because it's easier, has been £14,000. But remember, I'm under management.
Okay.
So in the words of Taraji P. Henson, people need to get paid. So they need to take their 20%.
So was this before or after the 20%?
So this is before the 20%. Okay. So once they've taken their 20%, that's 11,200. So my highest pay after my management, this isn't after tax, guys, remember, is £11,200.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the highest
And
pay.
how long was said campaign? Was this like distributed over a period of time?
It was technically, yes, it was. But it was creating the content in one batch, which is why we got to push higher, because they did come at a lower fee.
Yeah.
I said absolutely not. And again, what I loved is I had an agency to advocate for me, and also it's in their best interest as well
because they need
to go back, because
everyone's
got to eat, you know. And my agency's growing; they need to pay their staff. So they were like, let's also push back and be like, no, she's worth this. Like, this is what she'd be paid. But the good thing with me was that collaboration was with a company that I have built a relationship with for the last 3-4 years since COVID. So they were really accommodating. And they really listened, and they're like, that's fine, like, we understand the value, all that stuff. So we got to that fee. And I was really happy with it, because it was basically shot within technically a month. And then that content went from early December to like mid-January. And I got to really dabble in different things. So it wasn't just fashion, which I love, of course, but I got to connect with other content creators and like share ideas, like from UK to the US. I got to do like flower arranging, like tap into different hobbies and actually like find things I love. So that was a really fun campaign for me. The check made it even better. And I like the fact that it was hit these points, get your bag, and we're done. I loved it because it was a tight turnaround, but a nice big budget. And it kind of also had that creative freedom, which it kind of had the best of both worlds, of everything, to be honest. That was my highest paid deal to date. Like,
how much is 11,300 pounds?
What's the conversion?
2.24 million.
So Becky, allow me to introduce myself. It's you look lovely.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yeah.
We should go for lunch.
We should. So it's on you, yeah?
Across the pond.
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
Take me across.
Let's go.
Take me with you.
No, for sure. But do you know what? The crazy thing is that collaboration came about because the people, and also I love like this idea is that my name has been in the room with these people and it's been inserted so many times that it's almost, I don't have to prove my worth, which is great. And the people that were in the room, one of them that I know of looked like me, which I cannot express the importance.
You saw the resemblance?
No, I know the people. And the person in the room who is like working.
When you say it looks like me, do you
mean she's black.
Oh, girl, I thought you meant
she said she was my twin. Me and my twin work very closely together. No, but she's a black woman, and her role is really like elevating black content creators.
Love her.
And the importance of somebody at an agency company being black, being Asian, being somewhat diverse to the stereotypical normal of the people that we know that are in these spaces is so important, because I know for a fact that I don't think I would have gotten that fee if she wasn't there, and also if we hadn't worked so close together and she hadn't continually put my name in the rooms that she was occupying, in the space she was occupying.
Bless her heart.
No, honestly, like I have so much love for her. And that's I think one of the reasons I even got to a point with that brand where there wasn't like this back and forth being like, no, we don't have the budget. No, like it was like, okay, like we see each other. Stephanie.
Yes.
What is your highest paid deal?
You know, interestingly enough, when we began this conversation and you were saying, we've had this conversation actually before when we were saying how you feel as though if you transitioned in a another multiverse. Definitely not this one.
Yes.
If you moved here to Kenya, then you wouldn't be compensated in the same ways that you are compensated there. And never have I, like, as you were talking, I'm like, and imagine that.
Imagine that.
My highest paid deal would not even come to, we converted and it was what, 2? 2.2 million. Okay. It wouldn't even come to, okay, a quarter, that's a lie. A third of that.
Okay.
So I'd say maybe around the 600.
600,000.
And that was over like a 3-month period.
Nice.
And it's fascinating to me. That's why I'm like, do I need to move across the pond?
You know, my brother, for example, we had this conversation because of his following, his engagement. I'm like, if you were in the UK,
my guys are ballers.
Yeah, like, and also you as well. Like, if you were in the UK, like, I know the fee, it could be higher.
Yeah.
But for me to get to that point is 6 years in the making. Like, she said, girl, I've been doing overtime to get to this point. But also I think, like, if you were in the UK, it would be very apparent why you may not want to be there.
Okay.
Because
She said, don't come to this side of the pond.
like, it's great, like, when you think about it in the monetary aspect, where if, you know, you're able to earn that much and then now bring it back to Kenya, it's great, which has always been my plan.
Especially investment-wise.
Yeah, because reparations, we take and we bring it back. Thank you. We're still waiting. So I'll do my part till then. But yeah, like, I feel like if you were, for example, in the UK, it's all great and all, but sometimes they'll even take the mick with someone with your following. They'll still lowball you. Yeah. And then now it's up to you to be like, no.
Actually, no.
So even the fight to get to the point where you're like, oh, this is a nice check. By the time you got that check, you're like, I'm tired. Yeah. But I definitely do think
I'm tired, Grandpa.
No, well, there's literally, it's the UK. This is what happens. Like, get over it, you know? Yeah. But yeah, like, you'll get to that point. It's like, it's all well and good. But it's that, I think it's the mental toll of, like, just fighting. And fighting get, like, the fact that just remember what you look like and where you are. But yeah, I think if you were to go there, you definitely see a huge difference in income, but there's a lot that comes with it. Especially, I think, if you haven't grown up in the UK, the mental strength it takes to survive. No, literally. The mental strength it takes, I think, to get through, like, the corporate side, I guess, of content creation and dealing with the brands is a lot. And it's kind of that, you know how you're saying that your mind can be mean? So now it's my mind and you at the agency are being mean. Because they're like, being mean. Yeah, like, you're being mean. Yeah. You know? Like, stop. You're being mean. Yeah. Because now it's like, my mind is now saying, actually, don't ask for too much. Like, you're even lucky to be here. Yeah. And now they're reciprocating that, being like, we just don't have the budget. And, you know, content creators with your following, with your engagement, basically saying, you will never get, you know,
you will deserve this and not anything more.
Exactly. So I think it would be so interesting, like, say if you went there like for a year or something, to see that difference. Yeah. But then it'll be very interesting to also hear from you, like, how's your mental health? Yeah. How's your heart? How's your heart? Like, truly. So yeah, that's it's definitely got its benefits. Yeah. But it's also got a lot of cons. Yeah. But yeah, I think even though you're saying it was 600.
It was 30,
630,000, which is, I think, I don't know what that is, but I know that's closer to the 1 million mark. So in my mind, I can figure out the general fees, like probably 3,000. Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, over a 3-month period of time, So I get it. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, that is how they do the rates here.
But then, but that's just like, I have received the funds. Yeah. Now let's get to a cost.
Now after.
Yeah. I have a team.
You do have a team.
I do have a team.
Wonderful team.
Great team. Shout out to you, team.
Good luck for them. But they got to be paid.
And then we have delayed payments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's like, the money's good, but yeah. And I remember I waited for that payment. It wasn't delayed, but I was still with the contract time. I said, see, I pigeonhole all this money. I have a trip coming up.
Dear client.
Yeah, dear client.
Has been credited into card ending. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
We all are, honey. We all are.
Yeah. If you're watching this, please.
Pay us on time. Yeah. Pay us on time.
Becky.
Yes.
What is the lowest deal you've ever taken and why did you take? I think we know the why.
We know.
I need the money.
We need the money.
I need the money.
Actually, funny you say that. We need the money. When I've taken several deals, early doors, for £0. So the reason I took them is
Wait, what? So you weren't paid?
weren't paid.
Okay.
Because of course not. Sure. But the reason I took them is because it was more the, oh my God. A
Portfolio?
Yeah, like it was portfolio.
I get it.
I hadn't even thought that like long-winded or that far out. It was more like, oh my goodness, they've reached out to me. Meanwhile, you travelled to London to take that content. That's £50.
Yeah.
You got your lunch. That's £30. You got a drink because you started to get lightheaded from shooting 6 hours. You know, that's another £10. Like it's getting close to the 100 mark, and you've been paid nothing, honey. And I was paid nothing. But I had to take it because why not? Like I had nothing else to really prove, like
Reference.
Yeah, and I was like, if I don't have this, then what can I bring to the table in the future? So it's like you think about it in the short term, you're like, oh my goodness, they've approached me. But then now when you're finished, you're like, yeah, I spent all this money. This needs to now be referenced again when they come to me and be like, hey, so she actually did this campaign with this brand, by the way. So maybe that will now push you towards the £50 mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been £0 for that. And then the lowest after that, well, the next one would be £50 was my lowest, technically, like if it's an actual figure that's above 0.
I think the lowest brand deal, lowest deal I've taken was, and I say lowest in hindsight because I realized that people were being compensated even way, way more. And at least the person who came to me, I think at the time it was also coming from a place of ignorance and naivety, where I was like, oh, how much, Sawa?
Yeah, you're like, it's money, I'll take it.
Yeah. But now in hindsight, and I remember having a conversation with another creator, and she was like, you must be compensated. And I said, girl. And
Conversation.
Jaw drop. Gobsmacked.
Flabbergasted.
Behooved.
Perplexed.
Flabbergasted. All of the
all
above.
Of the above, yeah.
So in hindsight, I really should have been paid at least more. So I think for maybe creators within that time and range, it's probably like 2 years ago, people were being compensated from maybe 80K going up, and I was being compensated 30. So it was a pain in there. It was a pain for sure. Realizing that people, and it's not that big of a discrepancy, but you can already tell they were, and even said creator was like, for someone with your following and engagement, they were a surprise.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't know any better.
Yeah, and
but now I do.
The lack of transparency straight off the bat. And if she hadn't spoken to you,
I would have been like,
you'd be like,
probably that's what everyone else is being paid.
Yeah, and so that's why it's really important, like us to be like, hey, by the way, what are you?
Oh yeah, like now I ask
creator.
Shamelessly. How much have they quoted?
Yeah, and then I'm like, so whatever you said, I'm going to add another 10% on that, just in case.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes people don't always want to tell you.
Yeah.
They'll be transparent, but like, there's still that.
Yeah. I remember I was once on a campaign. I didn't actually do the campaign, but I remember we went for the negotiations and everything. And we even made like a WhatsApp group for the creators that we were there present. And we were like, whatever they quote, you come and tell us in the group.
Yeah.
And then they called us the next day and they quoted everybody the same. When we have different engagement rates, different... it's not even about numbers. Even for someone like me, my production costs are always higher than, let's say, if you just shoot on your phone, which is not to take one from the other.
No,
it's just our different realities. Yeah. Exactly. And so I was like, are we all being quoted this?
Because we're not all going to create the
same.
same.
And then I remember all of us added. And they were like, and they gave us another counter. All 6 of us. So where did all that money
come from?
Where did it come from?
Who knows? It's perplexing. Like, I don't know how you get this money all of a sudden. And it's wild that it's like, you have to fight just to get the bare minimum.
To get your foot in the door.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll concede. Like, why didn't we just come? Yeah. I know it's business. Obviously, you're meant to haggle. Yeah. But, like, you don't have to haggle your salary that much, you know? Like, let's have a base.
If you haggle payment, then you get haggle content.
Yeah. That's what you'll get. Yeah, as they should.
Yeah.
So, going off of the brands that we've had relationships with, how do you negotiate with them when it comes to branding?
I mentioned this earlier.
You did.
What's your budget?
Yes.
I love a Uno reverse.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Plus 4. I hear that. That's a good one. Double it.
What was your budget? Because I feel like sometimes I have been in situations where we are so fixated on this media kit and rate cards. Fine, we can have a standard, but then I realized in so many instances I sent my rate card and I boxed myself immediately because they were like, as per your rate card, this is what you have charged.
Tell me your deliverables first. Tell me your budget. Cool. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So now I either ask you for your budget and if you want, or the deliverables. I can do both. So if you give me a budget, I give you the deliverables. If you give me the deliverables, I send you a quotation.
Yeah. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can have a standard, but as soon as you get that brief, you're like, okay, this story...
It demands more.
This story or this reel...
It demands more.
Yeah.
I need to get four pieces custom made.
Yeah.
I need to rent out a aesthetically pleasing space. But my rate card says that amount.
That amount. And
that's that amount.
And that's because I haven't seen your brief yet. So, yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
now
very important.
I think even for other creators, I would advise you tailor the budget to the rate card and vice versa.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So that's how I do. I negotiate moving forward. But I've been doing it for a while, and I realized.
Yeah.
Because there are times I've caught myself. I was going to send my rate card, and then I said, "What's your budget?" And then the budget is high, and I'm like, "Thank God I didn't send it."
Because my rate card was it was the same. It was actually like the same.
It's
Literally.
actually slightly higher, but
But it's okay. I can see give you guys
yeah.
low rate. Yeah, I'll do a solid.
Yeah.
Whatever, I guess.
So yeah, just ask for what their budget was, and then I think from there you can gauge.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I like that.
That's how I negotiate.
Amazing. Well, I have another question.
How do you negotiate? Me.
Try to skip the question. How do
Starting pounds across the pond.
How do I negotiate? Now, because I have management, it's slightly different. So they negotiate on your behalf. So what they do is before they bring it to me, is they'll talk to the brand. So the brand will be like, hey, we have a budget of 1,000. They say, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We have Rebekah's rates here, and this is how much it would be. And also given the deliverable, because they already know me, how I work, the time I take. Given Rebekah's workflow, given Rebekah's rates and previous content, previous brands. Hello. I've got the portfolio to show you.
Yeah.
This is how much she would, require. Then they send that to me, and they're like, hey, so we're currently in negotiations, and this is the figure we've got to. This is the brief. These are the deliverables. Are you, 1, happy to work on this campaign? 2, what do you think of this budget? Hi. I say, thank you so much for sending this over. And then I read through it, and I'm like, okay, giving the deliverables, giving the brief, because now my brain's going, I'm starting to see the visuals. I'm like, okay, that's going to take this much. I'm like, okay, really appreciate that we've been able to get to this rate, but just given how much this takes, or given the deadline, or given the caliber of this client, can we please push it closer to this mark? So then now they go back and they negotiate. So I'm involved in the process. But like I said, I have my advocates going before me, first, and then they feed back to me, and then we get to a place where we can agree.
They stand in the gap. I love
that.
They
really do, yeah. So that's how I negotiate with brands.
What's the number one thing you ask brands before you collab /
is there any wiggle room with this budget?
Yeah.
That's it. That's
is it amenable?
Yeah, because I'm like, I'll read through the deliverables. I'm like, okay, yeah, because they never bring me a campaign I wouldn't want to work on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know I'll like the campaign either way. Deliverables are cool. I'm seeing the figure, and if I don't like it, I'm like, hey, what's the wiggle room? Let's just figure out if we can do that straight off the bat. If not, then that will now colour how we're going to go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also need to see that we can, because if I can compromise on certain things, let's both compromise.
Yeah.
So that's my number one question. Is there any wiggle room with this budget? How about you?
Before even we get to me, I'm curious. A follow-up.
Yeah, go ahead. I love a follow-up. Give it. Yeah.
So what happens in the context of when there is conflict between you and agency or your management?
Do you mean if they're giving me something and I don't agree with it?
Yes, in whatever capacity, if it's budget, if it's campaign, timelines, how do you handle that?
So usually, sometimes my agency will bring me a campaign. They'll be like, hey, I know this is below your usual rate. I know that how you work means that it will take time. So they're not compensating you as they should.
Yeah.
However, the brand is, 1, this is the only budget they have. 2, this is an introductory campaign, and we worked with them before, and we know that once they've done the first campaign, they open their purse strings a bit more.
Yeah.
So it usually depends on now what my agency tells me, because especially if they've got a relationship with the brand already, I can be like, okay, I trust you because this is why you are who you are.
Yeah.
And you know how these things work. So I trust you on this one. It might not be what I like, but okay, let's go with it and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And now, for example, 2 months down the line, the brand's like, yeah, we're happy to open the budget more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now I can see your proof of concept and I
Okay.
see why you said that. So it's still, we have a very open dialogue and I'm be very honest and be like, even though you've said this, I don't think I want to work on this campaign just because I don't want to extend myself, for example, for this budget.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have a very open conversation. We're very open with each other. And I really appreciate that when they're sending me an email, they're like, we know this isn't ideal, but given our experience, this could happen. So it's very open. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You're like,
I'm just like, it's very interesting because I wish I had that.
okay.
Because I feel like it would take the load off my back in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think it would also open doors for me, especially in maybe ones that I cannot be able to easily access myself.
Yeah.
So
No, I fully understand. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to access some of the places I've been able to access without them.
yeah.
So that's been a blessing for sure. Do you
And
think you'd ever, get management or?
I've been curious about it. I think, but also maybe it's a bit biased because I've had more negative experiences than positive ones. So
Yeah.
I think I'll need to see testimony.
Yeah. Proof of concept, yeah.
Yeah, to be able to be like, I can give the reins to someone and they trust and believe in my vision. Like we are aligned in that regard.
Yeah.
And they also, something I'm also keen on, even when it comes to like working with a team, is I would hope that you want this, even if it's not as much, but somewhere close to. Like we are both passionate about
Enough.
this.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know,
yeah, I
or
hear
you are
that.
passionate enough about it, you know, so that you share the vision. Not you're just like,
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, it's not just, doesn't feel like just clock in, clock out.
Yeah, because our world demands. We are fueled by passion. It's really what keeps us awake at night and wakes us up in the morning, literally.
Yeah.
So I would hope that if I was to be signed under management, then they need to do for me things that I cannot or possibly could not do for me. Like I need access to tables, doors to be opened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
okay.
and to expand, it would be from more of an expansion place.
Because already you're like killing it. So now it's like you now need to bring value to me.
I need to finish it.
Yeah.
I need to murder it. I need to
end it,
End
bury
it.
them,
Yeah.
go to the funeral and leave. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes
That's what I. So when I listen to you, and I'm just like, wow, because the negotiation, the back and forth,
Yeah.
it can be taxing, and especially when you are the brains and
The creative director, the photographer,
you're everything. Yeah. So if
It's
I
very
was to
interesting.
get management, it would I would need proof of concept.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I need to see testimony. I need to bear witness. Take me to church. Hello.
So I can conceptualize,
Exactly.
of course. Yeah. So I
That's
can,
a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good
Circle
one.
back,
Yeah.
reference points.
There are times I feel like I can recite my emails
Yeah.
in my sleep. It's usually, good morning, Becky. I
Yes.
trust you are well. Thank you so much for reaching out and expressing interest in working with me. Firstly, I would like to begin. It's literally like
Thirst out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing I always say is 3 things. It's always budget, timelines, and deliverables. Yeah.
Nice.
And then after you tell me those 3 main things, I'm like, okay, so please tell me I have creative freedom. Please trust in my vision.
Give
and
me
my,
something.
Let my brain do its thing. So yeah, I think those are the first 3. I don't know if it's one thing. Mine are like I,
triple I.
yeah. Bullet points. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to approach it.
Kindly provide clarity on the below.
On the following. On the following. Yes. Parentheses.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing from
back from
you
you
and
and
potentially working with you on
moving
this
forward.
exciting
endeavor.
campaign. Yes, have yourself a lovely day.
Have an amazing day.
Oh, best.
I have
You
such
guys.
a bad habit of doing that. Hey, hon, hope you're doing well. Like, exclamation point. Happy day. It's so bad.
It's the
But
best
that's good.
regards.
I like that.
So those are
Setting
the
out
3
clearly.
main things. Yeah. Budget,
Okay.
deliverable, timeline.
Nice. Next question. Do you diversify your income as a creator? And if so, how?
I feel like I should ask you that first.
Slay. Okay.
So do you diversify your income?
Yes.
You're
I
a
do.
full-time creator.
I am. Now it's weird. I'm like, do I say I'm full time? I guess I'm part time now. But I let's say a bit of both. So I'm full time content creator. However, I have another side of my life where I am a business owner. So it's like content creator, business owner. So technically full-time, technically part-time.
Yeah.
So I diversify my income by running an agency here in Nairobi. And also I'm currently making my way to do investing.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd say I diversify my income, so that I have an income that's UK based and I have an income that's Kenyan based.
Yeah. Can you adopt me? I'm not expensive.
Given the projections for Q1 to Q2,
I'm ready to be adopted.
I'll have to move some things around.
Across the pond.
Let's go. I mean, we can go. There's a spare room. Let's head over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I say I diversify it. And also within being a content creator, there's brand deals, but there's also affiliate links.
Yeah.
Which have been great for pocket money. So that's like another way, which it's still under the idea of being a content creator.
Yeah.
But that really feels less specific to a brand deal. So I think a lot of people forget that there's other ways to make content. I mean, money as a content creator outside of brand deals. Another way I've done it is I've done like consultations. So I've consulted with brands and companies as a creator to give them advice. So it's been like, for example, they need to know how to they want to do a campaign with content creators on a platform they've never used before. As a creator, how do we do that? So that's a great way to like, one, be outside of the, I guess, creative space, and now be bringing like your professionalism into more corporate, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's how I diversify my income. I do content creation, brand deals, I do consultations, I have affiliate links, and I also run a business here in Kenya. Wow. Yeah. I said many hats.
A woman of many hats.
Yeah.
I think my income is solely based on content, but I am slowly expanding and transitioning into the event hosting space.
As you should.
Thank you. It's been an interesting journey. I remember even the one of the main ones that I did during this last quarter was from a conversation I had with someone, and I was like, I really want to do it, and they were like, okay, bet. And then we never had the conversation again. Nice. And then weeks later, they're like, are you available on 8th December? Amazing. You're the one doing this. I said,
nice.
Ouch.
So is that like, what was the event, if you can share?
It was the Body Shop. They just had launched their second flagship store at the Sarit. So I emceed the launch.
I get the MC. That makes that such
so
that makes such sense.
It's a space I really wanted to try and get my foot in. So when the opportunities have arrived, what's the word? Arisen? Jesus.
Presented themselves.
Been accorded to me,
slay.
I have taken them by the horn, and I can't wait for 2024 to continue to do that, because I feel like I know I can be able to offer a unique event hosting experience, especially as for brands, because I'm also a creator. Yeah. So that's how I'm trying to position myself in the event hosting space, and especially for brands. Like, you can have 2 for 1. Yeah. You can have the creator and the event host.
Because then also you're bringing like your experience as a creator. You're like, I know what makes an event a good one. It makes me remember the brand. And I know what doesn't.
I know what fun feels and looks like as a creator at a brand event. So that's what I'm trying to do. And it's been a really interesting journey. Yeah. So and it's also me tapping into myself plus applying that degree.
Yeah, she said I need
to
get
use
some money.
Those papers, I'm putting them to good use.
They can't just stay on the wall. They have to do something.
Do the work.
But I think it's so important to diversify your income. Like you have to do something else outside of it. Especially like for me in the UK, I feel like if you don't diversify your income in the UK, good luck surviving. Yeah. Because they're not going to pay you the same as your counterparts. Trust me. Like, so yeah, I think it's really important to diversify your income as a content creator. Also, there is a finality, it feels, with content creation, where it's like, I can't be 40. Yeah. I don't think I can be 40 doing this. I don't have the strength. I don't have the mental capacity. So I want to give myself from now till 40 that then peace out. Yeah. So I think it's really important to have like something in the back. Yeah. So I think it's really great as well that you're going into like emceeing as well, because I think outside of like the SNS show, I know that like open so many doors for you because of just your personality.
Even the SNS opened many doors for me, because one of the reasons I even started it was to prove a point to myself, my parents, etc. But it was to remove. I felt like I had boxed myself into this beauty or like reduced. And if you are sometimes I feel like I constantly have to counter what I'm saying,
like,
so that you know, it's
I get
not
the point.
taken proportionately out of context.
Yeah.
But it's usually from a place of I knew there had to be more to me than creating beauty and style content.
You're a complex person. Everyone's complex. There's many layers.
So I am multifaceted. And I need
Exactly.
to tap
Into
that.
Yeah, that makes sense though. I think you have to, like, also as a human being, you change over time.
Yeah.
Like 1 year, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. Then your personality changes, an event happens, your mind opens, you read, hopefully, and your mind opens and you start to think about yourself differently, the world around you differently. That starts to reflect in your everyday. And now as a content creator, that will be something else that you do. Like it'll be a new niche, a new platform. So yeah, I think it's important. Like otherwise, if you're not evolving, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
Scary.
let's move on, you know?